This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by AuthorU and the Book Shepherd. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of AuthorU, your guide to book publishing. In it, as you know, we share ahas, insights, and tips to enhance and support your book publishing journey. So it's all about author smarts. So let's get smarter. With us today is Jules Marie. She's been with us before. And what I love about Jules is she's got a broad pedigree where she knows editing. She really knows social media and tips and tricks. And she is absolutely can tap dance with Instagram. And with the huge growth in Instagram and the increased conversion rates that are going on for authors, where sales are happening, I thought it would be appropriate to do another show on Instagram for the latest tips and tricks, and how it's evolving and how you can use it for your book marketing, for your influence building, and so much more. So with that, Jules, welcome back to AuthorU.
Hi, thank you so much, Judith. I'm glad to be here. Excited to talk about Instagram. Yep.
Okay, so let's start with this question. How come it's why is it increasing in popularity? Yeah,
I think it's because it's a lot of fun to use. Everybody has a phone, and it's really built around using a mobile device. So it's easy to use. It's fun to use. They have all these very creative tools, effects, colors, filters. There's just so many different things that it offers that no other social platform offers. It's like Instagram brings everything together. Instead of you go to Facebook for this, and you go to Twitter for that, and you go to Pinterest for this. Instagram kind of wraps it all into one. And I think it's fun. It's my most fun platform to use.
Well, how long does, the platform last? I know you're going to talk about stories and all those things. But how long does the average post last in visibility?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a loaded question. No matter what platform you're posting on, there's a death rate. That's sadly what we call it.
Well, okay, so what is the death rate?
I know the death rate. I know the death rate for, okay, so when we say death rate, that means if nobody comments on a post, nobody shares, nobody likes, what happens to it? Well, it just dies off in the news feed. So if somebody posts at 9 o'clock in the morning and there's been no action on it at all, it is most likely going to die off in 45 minutes. Is that on Instagram? I mean, I think, since you do know a lot of social media, I would love to kiss on each one of these. If there is no comments, if it's just thrown out into the wind, so to speak, to your followers and no one raises an eyebrow, how long does a tweet last these days? How long for Facebook? How long for, the other major players? That's something I don't know off the top of my head, but you can do something about it. You can go in and comment on your own post. You can add hashtags in the comments. But it all has to start with a compelling post, and we'll talk about that in terms of marketing strategies that you can use, to promote yourself. But it all has to start with a compelling post, and so when they die off, it's not interesting. Maybe it was blurry. You didn't post it at the right time. meaning that your followers, maybe they're more likely to be on at 7 at night and you always post at 10 in the morning. So there are reasons where you can control that sort of mortality rate.
So what you've got to figure out is when are your followers most likely to be on that particular platform? Would that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I can make that really easy.
Okay.
With Instagram.
I like easy. I like easy.
If you look at
Instagram.
your insights.
Let's just focus on Instagram.
Okay, yes. So with Instagram, if you look at your insights, it's going to tell you exactly what happened to that post. It'll even let you know how well the hashtags do. So it's important to look at that. I think a lot of people who I've worked with, they use Instagram, they post to it, but they don't really understand what's happening. Mm-hmm. And I love that on the phone you can just click insights and go and see what's happening. And the further you look into it, you have to click a little here or there. You'll see what the best time is, what the best day is, when your followers are more likely to be online. So if you tend to post to all 3 or 4 platforms at the same time, again, let's just use 10 in the morning, I can promise you your people are on at all different times in terms of popularity, right? Maybe Instagram's 7 at night, maybe Facebook 6 in the morning, maybe Twitter's the middle of the afternoon when they're having a coffee break. So you have to look at these insights to help you really, you've gone to all this work to create great content. You might as well post it when your people are more likely to see it, more likely to engage with it. So any platform we're using, we're kind of fighting that death rate. We don't want our posts to die off. And remember, Instagram has like 1 billion people a day signing on, right? So there's a lot of happening in the news feed. So if you don't get traction on something you post, it's just not going to show up in the news feed. So you have to be where people are when they're there.
Mm-hmm. So it's finding where they are. So you go to Insights to get that started, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. And within Insights, it gives you just so much information. I'm pulling mine up on my Instagram right now. And again, it'll tell you how your hashtags are doing. It'll let you know how many new followers you got from a post. It helps you to understand who your people are. If a post does really well, do something similar. Not the same image, but do something similar and at the same time, right? So you kind of use these insights to pivot and create content that really shows value to your fans and followers. And also with Instagram, you hope it shows value, but unlike Facebook, there's just one heart. There aren't a whole bunch of different reactions you can use. People don't write lengthy comments. The engagement is shorter, but you often get more of it. I hope that makes sense in terms that people just don't really reply a lot, but you'll get a lot of hearts. That's people's way of acknowledging what it is that you've said.
So you don't get, the belief is that if you just get, for example, Facebook, since they're owned by the same company. So on Facebook, if you get a heart or a like or a thumbs up or whatever it is, or a frowny face, right, without making a comment, it is the understanding of most people out here, then you really don't get much out of that. You have to make a comment. What I'm hearing from you,
it helps.
Is that true? It helps.
It does help a little bit. It's a reaction. It helps a little bit, right? So because it means somebody stopped and reacted to it, and that's when Facebook's like, oh, okay, somebody likes this, so maybe we'll open it up to another 2 or 3% of their followers, right? So
well,
the comment
that's
is stronger.
The challenge, right?
Is beating the algorithm. The comment is definitely stronger, Judith. You're right. What is the very strongest is the share, right? Because then the share opens up a post to everybody who is part of that person's tribe. So if they have 200 people, if I have 200 people and I share your post, my people, a percentage of my people will see it. So on Instagram, it's called reposting. That's how we share. In Facebook, we can just click the share button. But Instagram, some people take screenshots. I disagree with that. You can just use the free apps out there. That the one I use is called Repost. And it allows me to post, say you posted something awesome on your Instagram page about social media, and I repost it to my page. It fits my profile. I like what it says. It's similar to my mission. So that's a way that I can curate content and show that, hey, I have this partnership with Judith Briles. I know I'm posting this over to my page. So that's how the sharing aspect works a little differently on those two platforms.
Okay, so if people will just number one, insights is what I hear very quickly, and the sharing. Mm-hmm. So sharing and crossover, and then do you want to go up and try to connect with people, and move along that way, and let them know you're here, or are you letting people just discover you and your clever words or images or things like that?
Yes, the engagement's important. I'm just let me pop back to stories for a minute, because I just pulled up one of my clients' insights, and it showed a 243% growth in followers. This is in the last 30 days I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. It showed a 400% increase in content interactions, 372 new accounts reached, 9 more followers in the last day, 24 hours it looks like. So these are the kind of things that it'll tell you. And that's just me kind of getting an overview of the highlights. But then I can also go in and look at how those hashtags performed.
Okay, so hold on that thought. We got to take a quick break.
Okay.
And we're going to come back, and then we'll kind of really kick off again. And so what I'd like to also say, so if you're just starting, here's what you want to start on. If you're an old timer already on Instagram, here how you can, enhance it even better. We'll be right back with this is Jules Marie. We're talking Instagram and how to make you slick, click, and tick on the platform.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Is there a book in you? Or another? AuthorU shows you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you will find a supportive and brainstorming community that is connected and creative, no matter where you live. AuthorU brings in national experts for its book camps and annual AuthorU extravaganza. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through AuthorU's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. AuthorU is the premier authoring resource in the country, creating community, education, guidance, vision, and success for the serious author. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, AuthorU is for you. Timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted on its social media platforms, and it is free. Discover AuthorU, where authors go to become seriously successful. Join AuthorU today at AuthorU.org.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, we're talking Instagram today. So we're going to look at tips for you can do as a newbie, and as well as more advanced. But Jules gets so excited with all her different things, so she wants to take us down every path so we can kiss everything. That's what I'm hearing. But number one, you want to be able to understand your insights so you can see, are you growing? Are you expanding? Who are your followers? What hashtags are working for you? So you keep using those. Instead, maybe you don't have to use all 30 of them, or you replace some of those. And speaking of hashtags, do you recommend overloading with hashtags, Jules?
No. Hashtags are valuable for growing followers online, and Instagram allows 30 per post. I rarely use more than 20. I'm more likely to use between 6 and 15, but they're targeted. I don't use the same ones every single time, because then that doesn't really serve the purpose, because what I'm posting today might be a different image than yesterday, and I have specific hashtags that I want to attach to that post.
Mm-hmm. Which sounds perfect. So there you go on that. So, and also all your posts will be unique. I mean, I know that I always use certain hashtags all the time, but then because it's the general audience, but then depending on what the post is, there'll be additional ads that would be unique to it in addition. So I guess
right. That's right.
Yeah,
that's the best strategy. That's when I say 6 to 15 hashtags. It's like I have a file and I can copy and paste them over. I access Instagram through Facebook's Creator Studio, so it's all on my computer. So I keep a file of hashtags that I can just copy over to the post, just like as you're saying, Judith, and then I append it. I might be, whatever I'm specifically writing about today, maybe I'm going to use a hashtag specific to the blizzard of 2021 or a new restaurant that I went to. I mean, it really varies, but you should have specific ones that are part of your brand, part of your messaging. And then each post, usually you do want to add something really specific to that post. It just takes a few seconds really to add those very specific hashtags.
Well, that sounds good to me to do. I mean, that's common sense, but that's your building influence. All right, so let's talk about some of these strategies and how to increase followers. Okay.
So here's what I find here's how, all right, we're going to go up a little ladder here, okay? Instagram is built on the power of images, and good images, high quality, focused, beautiful images. Where when you go to something like Facebook, it's content driven. The first thing you see are words followed by an image or a link to a website. On Instagram, everything is built on a grid. Three photos, three. It's real beautiful to look at this grid. And it has to be the best images. And so you don't want to just, in terms of posting, they're the best ones. You also want them to be, to speak to your brand, speak to what type of business you are. Say you're an artist. Let's say you're an author. Okay, a lot of authors are going to listen to the show. So let's say you're going to add photos of you working, photos of you writing, photos of what your favorite pencils and pens look like, photos of the items that you keep on your desk, your cat that's resting over here while you're working on your book, photos of you working or editing your work on the computer. This is something that creates a persona, a personality for you on Instagram. This is different than what we see on other platforms. This is something that's, Instagram's just a lot more intimate. It has more flavor to the post. People are more honest and authentic about the things that they write. So if I'm flipping through the news feed, flip, and I see, your hands at a desk with a pencil and a lot of papers and cross-outs and, that's something that's going to appeal to me. It's not the same old picture of, here's my book. So part of the images the images are almost more important than your content, but your content is also important. But the images drive Instagram. So that's the beginning. If you don't have good images and you don't, you have to ask yourself if Instagram's the best place for you. So you have to decide on, like I said, what are they going to be about? Your book, you, maybe some of your favorite quotes. Maybe you're going to add some black and white images. Maybe you're going to use certain colors on your Instagram grid. So you sort of have to create a whole picture of what you want that grid to look like. Does that make sense? The
Absolutely.
images is just critical, Judith.
Yeah, I know. I love the idea of the 3x3, thinking just in 3x3s and going along. And, here I am, and I'm taking my notes as you talk. And I'm thinking, I should take a picture. I'm using my favorite pencil that you just said, which is a Blackwing, my favorite pencil. And
you can hashtag that favorite pencil, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Right. So that becomes all right. So let's talk about the content. So let's say you've got these beautiful images, and you're gonna have an image of your favorite pencil. It's a cold day here in Colorado. There's a fire burning. Here's the writing table. Here's the pencil. And I love this pencil. This is what you're gonna write. It's so smooth. It's so beautiful. I pick it up and words just flow from me. It's as though this pencil is a muse. And this is what you're writing. And then you add some hashtags, and one of them might be the hashtag to the brand of the pencil. And remember, you can also tag the brand of the pencil, because then if that company is on Instagram, they'll see that you wrote this post, and they might say, oh, hey, thanks, Judith. We love that you love our pencil, and hey, your books rock. So they might create a partnership because she's written a post about this pencil, and she's tagged the company, and they saw it, and they're like, what? This woman, she's, and then they follow her. So now she has added a follower, they've added a follower, their followers can see that she now follows them. This is how we begin to build through these hashtags and tags. We add that to the content that we write. And the content, again, is usually just it's authentic, it's honest, it's vulnerable. To me, it's much different content than what you see on Facebook, and definitely different than Twitter.
Oh, I love this idea, Jules. I mean, I'm playing around with the Blackwing. I'm already trying to think, okay, so do this, we'll take a picture. We're working on it. And actually, when I am doing my podcast and listening to my guests, I always take notes with the Blackwing because it glides so smoothly.
And that's what you write in the post.
I know,
exactly
it's fabulous.
What you just said. It's
fabulous pencil. No one will pick up a number 2 again.
Yeah, you might
with
do
yellow number 2.
Hashtag no number 2s, because it would be no 2. It could be really cute, Sometimes if I'm going to use a hashtag, I go up to the search bar and I type, the pound sign and the word, just to see, are other people using it? Is it overused? Is this, would this be silly to, I'm sometimes researching that before I write the post. And if it is a particular product, I'm also going to research it. I want to make sure I'm using the right tag, right? A tag is like their username, right? So maybe this pencil company couldn't get their exact name, and they're made in Canada, so their username has the word Canada on it, right? So sometimes it helps if you want to optimize your content to look at those kind of specific hashtags or tags in advance. Those tags can create a partnership for you. This company might wind up sending her a box of pencils.
Oh my God, heart be still.
That would be nice, right? Yeah. Let me give another strategy using this pencil and product idea again. Okay. So we have these grids that are 3x3x3. They're grids. I think of them as portfolios. All your best work, right? People see all the photos before they see the content. So Instagram offers filters. And there are almost 40 different filters that you can choose. Everything from black and white to sepia to neon to cartoonish to graphic. Like there's some that look like that comic book style. There are different colors. You can add more blue. You can go white, cream. There's all these different filters. So maybe one of your marketing strategies is going to be that every time you do a post that's about a product that you like, let's use this pencil, you are always going to use a blue filter. It's going to enhance it. It'll pop on your portfolio. If somebody comes to your page and they're spinning through all your 3x3x3 designs, their eye will start being caught by these product posts that you have. They won't know they're product posts, but that's how you've decided to position them, is with a certain filter. The other thing you can do is a certain color. Maybe every, 10th post, you're going to use the colors that match your brand, right? Mine are sort of a purple, green, bluish, and then a white and a black. So I might create posts that have those colors in them. And then, again, when someone comes and looks at my grid, my portfolio, their eyes are going to be drawn to, wow, this is beautiful. She's got all this. It's like let's say I like teal. It might be a ribbon of teal. I'm saying, like, if you could see my hands moving right now, it's like, it's a ribbon of teal running through my grid, and it pulls it all together. It adds this beautiful cohesiveness, the filters and the colors. And that's something that you want to go for. So it isn't just a photo and content, but it's what does the overall grid look like? So one suggestion I use, this is a free tool. They have a paid version, but I started with free. It's on Later, Later, later.com. I'm not an affiliate. I just use it. But Later will allow you to put a whole bunch of images out together and move them around, a little like building blocks. So I always suggest to people to go out to a platform or, create it on your computer. But imagine 12 images, 3, 6, 9, 12. What do you want those to look like? Will one be a black and white? Will one be a color? Will one have your ribbon color in it? Will one be a quote with the colors of your brand in it? Right there are 5 different ideas I just gave you for what could be in that 12. Okay, so it's important to think of the whole grid.
All right, so when you're talking about the grid, and we have 1 minute for our first break, another break, but you're talking about, so you just put up 12 images at a crack, not just 3, or I'm confused.
I practice with them. It takes, you're trying to create a strategy. If you just throw something up there, it's like, 10 in the morning, I'm going to post something. It helps to have a calendar, a scheduling calendar, whether it's manual on your computer or through a program like Later, where you can see everything laid out for you. And then you're like, I want to put that over here instead. I want to move this black and white to the 3rd week of the month, something like that. So now you have a whole visual of what your plan is.
All right, I got it. All right, we're going to take another quick break. With me is Jules Marie, and we're talking about some crazy and fun ways to play with Instagram and look great.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Discover the power of you and your book at the Judith Briles Unplugged events. Each summer, Judith Briles Book Marketing Unplugged unfolds over 3 intensive days working with just Judith. You get publishing strategies, author and book platforms, book marketing panache and pizzazz, and authoring tools to take you and your book to rock star success. In the fall and winter, Judith Briles Speaking Unplugged includes Judith as your coach and mentor during 2 powerful days. You will learn how to structure a speech, how to create openings and closings, how to find gigs that pay you and sell your books, and you will get one-on-one coaching. Go to thebookshepherd.com and click on the Events tab to learn how to participate at the next Unplugged Workshop event.
Congratulations on getting your book published. The effort you put into your work is truly commendable. But what's next? What will happen to all the knowledge you have worked so hard to acquire to produce your book? Here at TogiNet Radio, we can provide you a platform to keep your knowledge working for you through the power of podcast. The subjects our podcasts cover are as varied as the grains of sand on a beach. From life coaching to military resources to business success, even to the paranormal. We have a place for everyone. To get started on your next step, call Scott at 903-787-5880 or email him at scott@toginetradio.com. That's SCOTT at TOGINETRADIO.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, and I know that we haven't even mentioned this word to you, so listen, everybody, on this Instagram handle. What happens? What happens when you get shut down and your account gets shut down because you've done a boo-boo? You've violated community standards and you have landed in jail. So what happens? Because I'm hearing actually more people, Jewel, say they have been blocked, they have been suspended, they have been this, that. So how do we stay out of jail?
With a get out of jail free card, right?
Yeah, from our little Monopoly playing game days.
Mm-hmm. Well, part of the reason you may be hearing about it more is because of the pandemic. A lot of these large companies, even Google, it's automated. Things are happening. My Facebook ad account got shut down last May. Hopefully I opened another account, a new ad account, so that's how I got around it. But it's still shut down. That's another story. They said I advertised something I didn't. And even though I denied it and I filled paperwork out, which is the same thing you can do on Instagram, because things are remote and there's not a person replying, there's more like a bot replying. We're not getting it taken care of as quickly as we used to. So I know a photographer in Estes Park who had over 30,000 followers on Instagram. She got shut down for a month. And we figured out what happened. She got noticed that she would be shut down for 30 days, and she contacted me, and she was freaked out. And she said, what did I do? What did I do? And I told her, there are things you may have done that triggered it. And one of the things was some bot somehow attached to her account and created 6 fake profiles. So it does help to go into the search bar and look for yourself and see if somebody is impersonating you. She didn't know it. Suddenly on her Facebook post, people were saying, well, hey, Sherry, and they were sending her screenshots of, hey, here's somebody impersonating you. So then those people reported those profiles as fake. That's how Sherry got her, it took 10 days. She got her account back sooner than 30 days. Because they thought she was over-posting, over-following, over-engaging, because it all showed up as her name. Everything looked like her. Her photo was there. It's scary how the bot can create these fake profiles. So that's, and she had no idea. All of a sudden, she got this notice: your account has been disabled. It's a terrible thing to hear. So here's why it can happen. So here's how you can avoid it overall. If you're building an account, you obviously need to follow people and you want to get followers. So it's really important to engage with other people. Judith mentioned this earlier. So engaging with other people proves to Instagram that you have a relationship with people. What that means is you don't want to just go and put a heart, tap, 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 all these hearts. You want to comment on some posts. Maybe you're just going to pick 10 or maybe 20 today. But if you go over 60 is like a magic number for them. If you just open up and you're working for this hour and you go crazy and you comment and you like and you do more than 60 of anything in an hour, you will probably get temporarily suspended or temporarily blocked. They won't let you like or comment. So sometimes they just put you in jail for a couple of things. You could still view things on Instagram. Sometimes they totally disable your account. So that's one thing. They call it mass following and mass liking. You can't do that. You also definitely cannot infringe on a copyright. You either need to own the photo or you need to have permission from the author. And one thing you'll do is you'll tag someone. Say you take a photo of them, you can tag them, permission given by the author. So you have to be real careful about copyright infringement. It was made for your photos to be displayed. Mm-hmm. So what I do to get around that for my clients is I don't have photos of everything I need, so I go to free photo sites like Pixabay, Unsplash. They are part of what's called Creative Commons. So let's say I need a photo of a pencil that I like, that I don't have what I want, but I want to write a post about that. I could go to Unsplash and I could go to the search bar and look for, person writing in front of a fireplace, and I probably would find something. And with Creative Commons, no attribution is required. So if I'm going to use someone else's photo, I'm going to get it from a site where no attribution is required. I'm never going to take something from Google Images, ever.
Oh, no, you stay away from that. Mm-hmm. And there's so many places where you can get really good ones, including from your own phone, the pictures you take.
Yes. The more things can be your own, the better. And if, again, I don't have the newest phone, I take great pictures. I have a hiking blog that I maintain, so I'm able to use all my own blogs there. But as a social media manager, I don't have photos. I have to create photos to have content for something like Pinterest or Instagram, because they're both photo-driven, really, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's a little more challenging for me. And that's why, as an author, you have to think of, what kinds of photos could I use? What speaks to me or what I'm doing? Maybe you're taking a walk around the pond, just looking for inspiration after a snowfall here in Colorado, and you take a photo from the pond, and this is where people are like, oh, this is where she gets inspired from. And so your hashtag you might add to that post would be hashtag inspiring walk, or hashtag looking for creativity. And so that's where you kind of want to, use more of what you own and make those images meaningful. The other easy way to get your account suspended is if you have complaints. Say you're posting stuff that's just wrong. It's there are rules against profanity, violence, sexuality. All a user has to do is click on the dots in your post and report you. And if there are too many reports, you will automatically lose. You will automatically be blocked or suspended. There's always an option that says learn more. Whenever you click learn more on Instagram or Facebook, that takes you to a page where you can argue with why you got shut down. And you hope a person answers you, because, again, a lot of this is being automated right now. And that's why we're seeing more and more accounts getting temporarily shut down or even disabled.
All right. So pay attention. I think that's the bottom line, everyone. You got to pay attention to what you're doing and get help if you get in trouble. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
I think sometimes you do have to get it. You could compound it.
Right. And also sometimes it does help, like this woman, Sherry, for her to get her followers involved. She had a huge following, and suddenly she thought, well, what am I, this is crazy. But that's when she understood, how these automatic bots can go in and mess you up. I get followers every day. Someone tries to follow my Facebook page that I know is a fake profile. I immediately block them, because a fake profile gets in the way of your message. Because Facebook and Instagram, they only allow a certain percentage of followers to see your post, right? So say you have a whole bunch of fake accounts following you, the real people are less likely to see your post because these fake people are seeing it instead. They don't even exist, and it's still going to their Facebook page, to their, it's their, I'm trying to think of that word. that gets you shut down. That's unique to your page. your IP address. So it's being delivered to their IP address, even though they don't exist. So I just, as soon as I see someone come through that I know is a fake profile, I just block them. Keep them out of my way.
Well, if you can, is it easy to do a block?
Yes, it is. And they don't know that you blocked them. And if they search for, because they're a bot, they're not going to go searching for your name again. But also, even if you block a friend, someone you worked with, an old boyfriend, they don't get a notice that you blocked them. But if they go suddenly realize they're not seeing your news anymore, they go up to the search bar and look for you, they won't find you. That's when they probably will realize you blocked them on any platform.
You know what? I didn't know that. So if you block something, I mean, I actually reported something earlier this morning on Facebook because this person kept going to me, and I finally called her, and I said, why are you keep asking me this? Why are you doing it? She says, I don't know anything about this. And I said, well, you have been hacked then. You need to, I'm going to report it, but I think you need to do it too.
Mm-hmm. It's a little hard to find fake followers on Instagram, but when you're growing your business, the best thing you can do is if somebody follows you, don't immediately follow them back. They call it follow for follow. If you have the time, go look at their profile, because that's another thing that can get you suspended. If you get a whole bunch of people following you at once, that's probably a bot. If you go back and follow them, that's a problem. So I usually look at their profile. If they never post anything, there's just some things you're going to notice aren't real about them. So I'm looking for people who have a lot of posts, they've got engagement, people are liking what they're writing. I want my newsfeed to be shown to people who I can actually engage with, not to fake accounts. So it's easy to block. Usually in the upper right corner of any post, you can click to block or report a post. If you unfollow, usually that means you can be found again. I just tend to immediately block what looks like it's not real. I see no reason to have them in my way.
If you're paying attention. Well, let me ask some other things about some of these strategies. What are some of the other strategies? And we're about a minute from our final break here. This is going too fast. But I want to get into, if you can get into the stories and kiss on those. And also, what are reels? What's this thing called reels?
Let's talk about,
you can play with it.
At this point, if you've really thought about how to use Instagram, you've learned some of the basic things you need to do that you're now going to carry over into other posts, okay?
All right, hold that thought. Jules, hold that, because I can hear the commercial coming. So
okay, great.
Hold on, and then we'll be right back and cover that.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Are you confused about publishing options? Do you know which printing option is best for your book? Does your stomach flip when you think about selling books? Or do you feel overwhelmed with what to do about book marketing and publicity? Get the answers and much more. Get them and from someone who knows publishing inside and out from both the traditional and independent sides, how to make a successful book. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand and platform, and is a success, a bestseller. It is your choice. You choose. If you want author and publishing success, you want Judith Briles as your book coach. Sign up for her weekly blogs and e-zine at thebookshepherd.com. The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and guide to collaborate with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You do not need more problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and chaos. At times, she has had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher, by a publishing service provider, and sometimes even by the author. If you want author and book success, connect with her today at thebookshepherd.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, so this has gone fast. We have 12 minutes, and I'm telling Jules, I think we're going to have to come back and make a part 2 to really strategies. My gut is, Jules, that most people, it's like when Twitter came along, Facebook came along, Google Plus came along, and then it went adios. But when these platforms came along, people just went ahead and signed up, not realizing there was a strategy that was unique with each one of them. And never really went down that path. They just kind of said, well, I need to position myself and I need to be visible. And I get that. And I was also in that area. I mean, the names that we chose at that time just to grab it, not realizing it should have been branded from the very beginning get-go on this stuff.
Right.
That I'm just wondering, and coming back, what I'd love to do is going forward in another session is just really start. So everyone pretend you're a newbie. You know, you're on it and doing it. I've loved what Jules shared with us on the grid, laying out the grid, doing maybe just 12 frames and it tells the story. And is the grid where the story goes in the grid? And I think you better tell everyone what the story is in this, or do we just go after the individual and it keeps just running along and it'll make its own grid every time you add a new picture? Help us out.
Yes, that's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happens. I mean, you can just manually write down, you want a picture of this, you want a picture of this, you want a picture of that, and sort of just do a pencil diagram of what you want your grid to look like. And initially, I really do schedule them because I want them to show up at the right time, and I want to have something. I want the cohesiveness, but I want them different. I don't want every single photo to be promoting me, right? Let's say you've written a book. Every photo can't be book. I mean, your grid is always going to look the same. So you really have to shake it up. You might have your book open. You might have a testimonial. Authors, I think adding a testimonial to your Instagram page is just perfect for an author. Anytime somebody says something nice about you, you can create a nice design in your colors, right, and put it on your Instagram grid. It'll fit with what it is that you're doing. It helps people to look at who you are as a person. If I come to your page, again, remember, I don't see your content first. I see all these pictures. Once I click on the photo, I see then I see your content, I see the comments, all of that opens up. So before you can even get me to engage with you, you have to inspire me with that photo, with that image. So it's a little tricky initially. I've had clients hire me who I've looked at their Instagram grid and I've gone and deleted. It's easy to delete. I've gone and deleted things. It just doesn't fit their business. Maybe they had too many personal photos up there. I try to keep it really business oriented. Maybe things were blurry. So you really want the best possible images you can have on there. Very important.
Well, I just love these little tips. I mean, the taking a picture, like someone sent you a note card that made a difference. Maybe you got a fan letter, or fan email. Take a picture of that, then maybe comment about the book. So you can give a little, like you're the director and you can tell him behind the scenes what's going on. I mean, I think those are all kind of fun ideas.
And that all falls into the marketing strategy and the need for having a calendar. You know, what's coming up? What is there a holiday? Is there a special event? Today's St. Patrick's Day. What did you post? If you're a restaurant and you didn't post something special, that's lost sales, right? This is a day a restaurant definitely wants to take care of, you know, wants to have some sort of offering for. So you have to really look ahead. If you just sit there and you post, like I said, at 10 in the morning, that's not a strategy. Your people are working. Everybody's nose is buried at 10 in the morning, right? And so you've got to be able to really reach them and inspire them or educate them or humor them. So as part of that calendar, I think of, okay, I'm going to have an inspirational post. I'm going to have a post about my book. I'm going to have one about the process of writing. I'm going to have one that's a link to my blog. I'm going to have a post that celebrates this holiday. So you want to look at it holistically, like this is what's happening this month, and usually I'm looking ahead to a quarter, right? Because a lot of clients are planning, you know, ahead. This is what they're going to be doing, right? So that's the part of having a strategy, and a lot of the people I work with come to me and they don't have that. They're just posting, you know, and because asking why they're not getting any. Why are there why have they still only got 100 followers, right? Because they're just posting. They're not optimizing their content.
Well, if they probably would love 100,000 followers. They're still working past 100.
Well, you know you can, and I do not recommend this. I say that strongly. You can buy followers all day long. Remember, there are tons of fake accounts out there. But remember, those accounts, if you buy a number of fans, say you buy 5,000, sure, it looks like you have a lot of followers, but they don't engage with you. They're not real people. So they don't help you, and they get in your way. They get in the way of your real fans seeing your post. So it's up to you to post and then go spend 10 or 15 minutes engaging with other posts. Say something in the comments. You know, they might think, oh, I like what she said. Maybe I'll follow her. That's how you begin to create organic growth on Instagram. It's so due to engagement, using the right hashtags, and using tags to create partnerships. That's what will help your account to grow. It isn't just going to magically happen because you put up a post of, you know, a stunning book cover. Your account's not going to grow just because you have the most beautiful book cover in the world. It's going to grow because you are optimizing it and because you are engaging with people in all the various ways that Instagram allows you to.
Now, yes, and you've mentioned a few tools during this past hour. One was the Facebook Creator Studio. How is that different from the Later tool you mentioned?
Later is, in my opinion, they do have a paid tool, remember, but I've only used the free tool. I've used it for about the past year. When I have a new account, I'm trying to create a whole new grid for them, and I like that it's visually oriented. I can see it easier. It looks like a real calendar, and I can see the pictures that are in there. I have to click on it to see the content. Facebook
can you move it around? Can you move them around and reposition?
You can just click.
So, and is this on your phone or is this on your computer?
You can post. You can use Later on your phone.
Can you use it on your computer too?
I've never loaded. Yeah, I've never loaded it to my phone, but yes, you can use it.
Got it. Okay. So
Facebook
I think
Creator Studio is important. Go ahead.
No, I think that's a great tool for someone just so they can visually, because I'm visual, playing around, moving around, getting your story, in line. So this would become part of your story. Is that correct? Am I using the right phrase?
Yes. And when I signed into Later yesterday, I saw an ad they had on there of a woman who was using big building blocks, and it was a great visual for how Later works. So she put a block here and she moved that block, and you could see the grid change. That's the point of it, I think. That's how, of all the tools out there you can use for Instagram, I settled on later because of that easy to see, that visual.
Well, absolutely. Again, and look, at free. It's a great way to get started before you start shelling out money. To also determine, is this the right platform for you?
Right, exactly. And with someone like most of the platforms like Later, they have free tutorials. They'll send you emails and reminders of how to do things. So I've been, I'm careful how I spend my money, and I want to use these free tools. But there are always paid versions. I have found, though, that I don't necessarily need them. Sometimes if I'm bringing a new client on, I might sign them up for Later for 3 months so that I can really work a grid easily, because I can look ahead to what's going on. It helps me to really see it. And the lowest paid version on there, I think, was only $14. So it's not like it's hundreds of dollars you're going to spend over a few months.
No, is that a monthly or is that an annual
fee? Monthly, and then they all offer quarterly. In the pandemic, everybody has had some kind of special if you buy by the quarter or the year. Mm-hmm. But just quickly, before we run out of time, another free tool that you may be forced to use is Facebook Creator Studio. And by using that, you can post to Facebook and Instagram, not concurrently, but from your computer. So for me, let's say I have all these clients. I can't just constantly open and close my phone for them. So I go to Facebook Creator Studio, and I still can schedule their posts and see their images, but it's more of a horizontal layout. It doesn't give it to you with quite the aesthetic of something like Later. But it allows you to still see those images out there and schedule them at the right time and day.
Okay, and so what about some of the other tools out there with the Eggers and the Buffers and the Hootsuites and the Oomphs and all those? If you're doing setups, does it coattail right along with it? Because I know from Hootsuite, you can post to Instagram.
Right, but you just don't, and if you've used Hootsuite, you see it offers you a dashboard. You can see it, again, it's all horizontal. You can see them scheduled and running one right under the other. With Later, you just get a different visual appeal, and it helps me to create that more stunning grid and see how the colors flow together.
All right, so we're gonna have to stop here. This breaks my heart. We have to.
There's so many great things authors can be doing on Instagram. It's so easy to use. You can use it on the phone. You can use it via Facebook. Authors have great opportunities on Instagram because of their books, the process.
No question. All right. So with us is Jules Marie, and you can find her on her website. It is 33words.us. And we'll have Jules back, reschedule it so we can come back with a back-to-back so we can keep this flow going, because I think Instagram is really an important portal for you. Thank you, Jules, for being with us. Thank you for all of you for sharing your time on the AuthorU, Your Guide to Book Publishing website, podcast, radio show, everything. We'll be right back with you next week.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Each week,